So, hello everybody and welcome back. Today we are in X-Plane. It's been a little while, but today we're really going to get things started and we're going to do everything including comms from a towered to an untowered airport. Now the plan is to go from Colorado Springs Airport, random pair, up to Meadow Lake Airport. So, to do that, actually, we're going to throw in a twist with this one. So, we're only going to use the program and what I have on me. So we're going to try and make this as realistic as possible, as if we were in the cockpit itself. So to do that, I have this fancy little knee board. It just slips on your leg. I have a couple of charts up here for relevant airports. This one is the Colorado Springs diagram. These are some of the ILS procedures. Now, we're going to be doing a VFR flight, but backing them up with the ILS procedures, if possible, is always a good idea. Now, on the very back, we have some paper to take notes on. I have already written down the information for Meadow Lake Airport. Because it's an untowered airport, it has an AWOS, which is an Automated Weather Observation Service. So basically, it's a digital thing that they stuck on a pole, and it tells you things like the barometric altitude. Realistically, just about everything that you get from ATIS is on an AWOS, except for a person didn't read it. It's a computer-generated one. I've got the airport altitude written down, the runway headings, and the CTAF. Because there's not a tower controlling it, we actually have to call and say, we're coming in, hey, is anybody else in the pattern, stuff like that. So, get started, I'm going to put this on my leg, and we are going to get this bird turned on. With just these on, we can do a couple of things, like get my headphones on so I can actually hear what you guys are hearing. Alright. Do I have that one? I do. So we are going to come over here, and in COM 1, I've actually got this written down. ATIS is 125.0. Well, it's on the first chart. So we're going to tune this 125.0. Come on. Really? You're not going to pick up ATIS? Hehe. Forgot that part. You do, in fact, have to switch it. Alright, put up my pen. Okay. So, I've written down all that information. We're going to transfer that. So, the important stuff that we got out of that is that we have information Charlie. It's good till 2100 Zulu. I actually forgot the Z, so I'm going to put that in there for good habits. Then we got the wind, which is 120 at 09, which means it's coming southish to north. Well, southeast-ish up north, to north. So slight crosswind, 9 knots, definitely well within our aircraft's capabilities. 10 nautical miles of visibility, that is plenty. You'd be surprised at how fast it goes down when you start hitting 5. That's actually pretty, not necessarily hard to see, but once you get down to 3, it's very hard to see. Temperature is 12 Celsius, and altimeter 3022. So we need to come in here, and we need to actually set this to 3022. That's funny. Now, while we're doing that, we're actually going to look at our airport altitude. See that the altitude is, well, it varies a lot, which is kind of unhelpful. But roughly halfway between the ends of the runway. The one end is 6,045 feet. The other end is 6,173 feet. We are mostly in the middle. So realistically, we are somewhere around 6,100 feet, and that says 6,000, almost 90 feet. So it's rolling over, so we are correct on that. So it looks like our altitude is correct. Our altimeter is working. Next thing that we pulled out is that they are arriving on 17 left and departing 17 right, which means that they are landing from north to south on the left runway, and they are arriving 17 right on the right runway. So we might be able to ask them if we can stay in the pattern. It's medium likely, I guess. But if that's just how they're landing, then That's how the landing, and we have to fly it. So I'm going to continue with startup because now that we've got ATIS, that's helpful. So I'm going to continue startup, and I'll see you when we are all ready. All right. So we are all ready. We've got everything tuned in. So we're going to call ground and say Springs ground, King Air 123, general aviation, northeast departure, ready to taxi with Charlie. They're going to come back and say King Air 123, taxi via Alpha 2 Alpha to taxi to runway 17 right via Alpha 2 Alpha. Hold short of runway 17. So when they say that, we're going to go taxi to 17 right via Alpha 2 Alpha. And then we're going to do hold short. I'm going to draw a vertical bar, meaning that we hold short of the runway. So they're going to call us and say that, and then we're going to call them back and say King Air 123, taxi runway 17 right via Alpha 2 Alpha, hold short 17 right. Or just Alpha 2 Alpha. They might not tell us to hold short because it's kind of implied, but that's what we're going to start with. So, brakes on. We're going to increase power. We're going to taxi out to Alpha 2 Alpha, make sure that nobody else is taxiing around us. And we are going to taxi. Going a little fast. We're on Alpha 2, that's Alpha. So we're going to look right, we're going to look left. We're not going to care because it's a simulator and everybody else will stop. We can see that the runway is right there. Those flashing lights mean that the runway is there. Kind of obvious, but it's just one of those, you have to hold short unless you were given explicit permission to cross that. If this runway was closed, they would say taxi via Alpha 2 Alpha if we were going to left. Or taxi via Alpha 2 Alpha, cross runway 17 right, and then they would tell us more instructions from there. So those turnoffs are actually for an air museum that's there in Colorado Springs, and they have old warbirds and a couple other things. If you get the chance, go check them out. It's a gigantic checkered building. Now, in the real world, if you can, actually, I think you always have the option. They will almost never tell you no unless it's closed, but they will basically tell you, and here's the run-up area, we want to stop over here. But you always want to ask for the full runway length. If they ask if you can take the runway at Alpha 2, unless you are really in a hurry, and there's almost never a reason to do it, but unless you are seriously in a hurry and cannot do it, always take the full length runway. That way, if the engine quits, if anything else bad happens, you have a lot of runway left. You have the option of landing on the runway that you're actually taking off on. These runways are huge. Something like a Cessna 172 can take off, get to 100 feet, have an engine failure, and come back down and land. So, it is up to you, but you always want to have as much runway in front of you as possible. That way, hot day, anything. Alright, we are holding short. We don't want to be spending any time here. Once we get here, we need to be ready to go. I'm actually going to take off flaps up. So, we're going to call, we're on the right frequency, Springs ground, King Air 123, ready for takeoff, runway 17 right. And they're going to call back and say, King Air 123, clear for takeoff, cleared for takeoff, runway 17 right. Actually, no, we need to tell them what direction we're going. So, we need to call them, King Air 123, ready for takeoff, runway 17 right, departure to the northeast. And they're going to call back, King Air 123, cleared for takeoff, runway 17 right. On takeoff, climb to 7,000. we're going to write down 7,000. And make your heading and fly heading 025. So we're going to call King Air 123, clear for takeoff 17 right, climb to 7,000, left hand turn to 025. And I've actually got this flipped open. You guys can't really see because of this gigantic thing I've got in my way, but yeah. So from this point, you really don't want to dilly-dally. You want to be on the runway, take off. Go, go, go. Because there could be a aircraft on short final. Sorry, there could be an aircraft on final, not short final. Not normally. So, now that we are lining up, we're about ready. Let's pick up that center line, advance the throttles to take off power in this aircraft. That's full. Slight left crosswind correction. Looking for takeoff speed. That's about 90 knots. 90 knots. Rotate. Climb out on runway heading. Trim. Gear up. Make passengers sick. We want to pitch up and maintain 90 knots. So once we hit pattern altitude, roughly 1,000 feet above, so we're going to climb to 7,000. We're going to make sure we clear the runway. I'm actually going to pull back the throttles. Keep her trimmed. Try to. And we're going to make our left-hand turn. Make that a 30-degree turn. Maintain altitude. We're a little high. We need to descend. And we're going to turn until our heading, which we can't really see, there it is 1... Actually, they would want us to go way further out. We're going to climb to 7,000. Pattern altitude is actually going to be 8,000, so we're going to climb 8,000. We're actually going to climb to 9,000. We're close enough that 8,000 will work. To figure out your altitude, we're coming on heading there. We're going to hold this. We are a little high. And they're going to call King Air 123. Climb to 8,000. We're going to come over in our altitude. Climb 8,000. Make a note. 8,000. Same heading. Don't actually have our GPS up, but we are pretty close. So we're going to climb 8,000. We're going to advance those throttles. As we speed up, we're going to climb. We're going to maintain about a 500 foot per minute climb. We have gear up. Flaps are definitely up. And we are technically left of our GPS line, so we probably want to come a little bit more left. And Springs Tower is going to say King Air 123 cleared to... Sorry, clear of the class Bravo. Actually, we might not even get a call for that. They might just not call us, and once we're clear, we can switch frequencies. If they call us and we're out of their airspace, they don't really have any control over us, so once we are clear, we can swap over to CTAF, and we always want to monitor 121. Let's actually turn on Calm 2 and get the AWOS. No AWOS. 118.45. That's not the right one. 4-5. And I don't have rudder trim very well in this thing. 118.45. No Calm 2. So, we're going to assume the weather is basically the same. And we're going to be landing runway 17. The altitude for that is 6,800 feet, so we need to climb. Come a little left to intercept. Normally you can actually see the runway here. At this point, give it a little more juice. Now we don't need that sheet anymore for Colorado Springs, so we're going to climb at 120, 500 feet per minute. Climbing up to 8,000. We can use the GPS if we wanted to, but we're going to not. This is just a really short, quick flight. That looks like it could be the runway. Unknown, but possibly. Alright, they're at almost 7,000 feet, so pattern altitude is 1,800 feet. Or sorry, 7,800 feet, so we're actually going to climb, or descend a little bit. 1,800, pull the power back. And we're out of their airspace. Yeah. We're out of their airspace, so we're going to swap over to the CTAF. Double check our frequency, 122.7. That is still true, still the case. And I said descend, but we're not. Trying to. Still waiting for that AWOS. We could just be too far out. It's definitely possible. Now the airport should be right over there. There it is, right in front of us. So we're gonna, well, we should have called a couple miles out, but we're gonna call King Air 123, Meadow Lake, King Air 123, 1 mile southwest of the airport, coming in for the left-hand traffic pattern, King Air 123. And we're gonna join 1,000 feet above it. We're supposed to do it at 2,000 to join. That's fine. We're going to maintain that 7,800. Yep, that's great. There's our tiny little runway. I've actually heard there's a guy that has one of these. We're going to start pulling back, drop the gear. What are you doing? Flaps 1. Now, we're going to turn that course heading to 026 is good. Oop, no, we don't want to be doing that. A lot more power. Power. Yeah, because they're at 68. Nope, don't stall out. That's bad. Alright, we're going to make a left-hand turn. Make our course 172. Let's make our heading 172. Takes forever. All the while, we need to be looking outside the window. Ooh, rain showers. Maintain that 30 degrees. We are looking for the runway now. Pull back the power, start our descent. Did I miss it? Oh yeah, we missed it. You're right on top of it almost. Is that it? Where is it? Right there. I still don't see it, but that's a simulatorism, unfortunately. I think that's it right there. So the heading looks wrong. We're going to need a little more altitude, and then we're going to come in to the left. At this point, we should probably go around, but... Alright, so that's technically that runway, so that's the wrong runway. And King Air 123, short final, runway 17, King Air. Meadow Lake. Alright, we are definitely landing into the wind. Flare. At power. Not my best landing. on the brakes, not super heavy, kind of lightish in theory. I think there's actually a pull-off right there. Now, we missed like half the calls on that. Sorry about that. Let's turn off COM 2 because for whatever reason AWOS was not available. It's really hard when you can't look around, unfortunately. Might need to hook up track IR, see if it works very well on this. Because we really do need to be able to look around. Yeah, there's our pull-off. Normally you would just want to run out and use most of, if not the entire runway. And Metallic King Air 123, clear of the active. King Air 123. Nope, Metallic 123. So now we are down. That was not really the proper comms. That was kind of me flailing through the comms. But we can go taxi over to the hangar, shut her down, put her to bed, and call that good. Next time, I think we're going to fly from a class Charlie to a class Bravo. That'll be Denver. So I'm going to have to print out a whole lot more charts. We're going to put a whole lot more stuff on there. We're going to have to actually figure out what we're flying. Because they're probably not going to give us direct because the RJs like to do direct. Yeah. Denver doesn't count as a cross country, I don't think, because it's like 48 miles and it has to be more than 60 or something. The round trip it is, but just the single hop, it does not count. We're at 6780 and I wrote down 6874. So I don't think the pressure's changed, but could just be the side of the runway that we're on. Anyways, hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully I learned something. Maybe we all learned something. Next time, we're going to do the flight to Denver with pretend comms, and then we're going to do the flight to Denver with real comms. Hopefully they let us in. They might not. Might give us some funky runways or something else, but that is going to be a much longer flight. I might babble on. I might cut it short. We will see. Yeah, the weather... Yeah, weather's fine. Dropped to 7 degrees Celsius, though. So, thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.